Get off this road. It's a dead end. Don't follow us. Young people are not ready. Maybe for those people who are average or ugly, you need to recognize.
You want to talk about loneliness?
Loneliness.
Right. Maybe for people who are listening to this in their 20s and 30s, maybe even people in their 40s as well, there's a moment in their life, right? They want to be alone.
Okay.
But when they are situated in that one-man situation, saying like the rest of the family are asleep, they're like, oh, okay, freedom. But when they find the freedom, they may feel like, oh, but why am I so lonely?
I've read lots of articles over the years and talked to lots of South Koreans who say that they're lonely. Yeah, and more South Koreans live alone, but also say that they're lonely compared to the past. Okay, look, I came to South Korea for the first time back in the 1990s. At that time, families all lived together. Maybe they hated it, but they all lived together. But things have definitely changed over the last 30 years in South Korea, and many people are lonely.
I'm not an expert, but part of the reason is also the fact that I think it's hard to get married these days because of many different reasons, like financial reasons, or things are so like individualized.
But wait, let's stop. First
Right.
thing is, it's hard to get married. Okay, so I remember people would say, like in the past, say that you need the 3 keys. Do you know what those 3 keys are?
What are they?
Now, I might not remember exactly, but one key
Stable
should
job?
be to the home. I think one key was to a car.
To a car, right?
Yeah, and
Fancy
then one
car.
key to whatever office.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I think those are the 3 keys that people said that they needed. So
I don't know why they 3. But, I
well,
mean,
it just shows some stability at
Okay.
the beginning of starting a marriage. So those 3 keys were evidence that you were prepared.
got it.
But that puts a lot of responsibility and makes a major challenge for young people. Young people are not ready. Maybe in the past it was a little bit different, but the expectations seem to be higher now.
Do you think that they're not ready, or do you think that they're weaker than before compared to the upper generations?
No, okay. Every generation thinks the newest generation is weaker.
Okay.
Yeah, than they are now. Probably more about the circumstances have changed. Yeah. But the point is that expectations have gone up.
How do you make your life better in the age of social media? Yeah, I mean,
That's too big.
I know, but you didn't grow up in that social environment. Share advice, or you may have a different eye or different view on this phenomenon.
I think people just have to recognize the reality of who they are. Okay, look, if you're an average person, okay, I'm an average guy, okay?
No, you're
I'm
not, but
well,
okay, go ahead.
but for those people who are average or ugly, you need to recognize.
Facing the fact, right? It's not always enjoyable.
Yeah, of course not.
It's painful.
Yes.
But that's the good pain, right?
Right, sure.
It makes you grow.
Right, yes, but also it makes you more appreciative of the things that are around you. Okay? The possibilities that are in your life instead of just thinking about all the possibilities that are on the internet.
Right.
Yeah.
How would you recommend? I mean, what kind of methodology? I mean, do you want them to write down something, or look at their mirrors, or ask people around, like starting from your outlook appearances? And
There's not an answer for everybody. There we need to
know.
hear individual situations.
let's give 1 or 2 major things that would cover, let's say, more than 70-80% of people.
Okay, we have to still, that's not narrow enough for me.
Right.
So, and I don't have a solution to the internet
You don't have to.
because the internet is always going to win. Yeah, there are just too many options that are out there, and people spend too much time on it. I'm on Instagram, but you can barely tell.
You know
I
what?
go on, I post about my work, and then I'm done.
You know what? I'm on the same page.
Yeah, almost like a meta world now. People
Right.
just living in this fake world out there.
Right. Even the
Yeah.
cafes or newly built restaurants or whatever, when they build something, one of the things they always try to do, they try to put a wall or something.
Okay.
Oh, this is for our customers for their Instagram photos. And then the quality or the interior, the material should not always be good.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be good.
Yeah.
And then they keep changing, keep
Yeah.
changing, keep
Yeah,
changing. So
I didn't know this. Internet provides many good things.
Right.
My point is that people are living their life too much on it. Too many people not being satisfied with themselves because of what they see going on in the lives of other people.
what is your verdict on the very reason people want to get connected to internet? Do you think it's because they believe that when they post something on the internet or start chatting with somebody else online, will that wash away their feeling of loneliness?
I wish I had an answer for that because I'm not active in social media. So this is not me saying like, oh, old man saying internet is not good and you shouldn't do it. It's more about with everything, there are some good things and there's some bad things.
Right.
And one of the bad things about the internet is that, yes, people are often unsatisfied with their own lives, unsatisfied with the people in their lives, and never really quite happy. And the internet is one of those things. I'm not going to say the only thing. I'm a believer that this has more of a negative impact on women.
The social media?
Social media, the higher expectations. So as I said, and please, I don't want anyone to take it in a negative way, but the reality is 100 years ago, typical woman would have been married to a farmer and probably, local farmer, not like a farmer in another state that they met online or whatever. And they would have stuck with the person. The point I'm saying is that 100 years ago, if you're a woman, probably would have been very careful about having a lot of relationships with men, probably very careful about the reputation that you would have around yourself. If they found even just like an average man, that they would have been happy to settle down and to get married. And I'm not saying that life was golden or anything. Of course, I'm not saying marry a farmer these days, not as many as before. But even if they found somebody kind of at their level, that they won't be satisfied long term. Let's take it like this. 35-year-old woman who is single, because it's much more common these days. 35-year-old man who's single. Going forward, their lives will be very different in terms of their prospects for dating or marriage. The reality is that a 35-year-old woman, if she wants to have kids, should do it pretty quickly. 35-year-old man has plenty of time. Now, I'm not saying it's perfect if they wait several years. There are defects also if a man waits until he's a bit older. But the reality is that man could be more patient about settling down. If a woman wants to have a family and not artificial insemination or other ways, she has to hurry. But it seems like a lot of people are just very patient about it. And I'm not saying good or bad, but that not being satisfied has deeper consequences for women in terms of their lives. Now, is it just biological? Is it just cultural that people expect women to settle down and be married and to have a kid? There's definitely an expectation in Korea for you to settle down and to have a kid, and your parents or grandparents or whatever pushing you to go ahead. So I'm saying that because of social media, because of expectations in society, that people are taking their time. I'm more comfortable talking about America than Korea because, I'm still an outsider. All right. Oh, actually, a friend of mine said it perfectly. One of his friends asked him, "Where are the good men?" And he said, "Look under your shoes. You've been stepping on them since college." But then she was in her mid-30s and she was unhappy because it felt like she didn't have men chasing her as much as she had when she was younger. So then the point is that, yes, career-wise, a lot of women, there are consequences to that. The book Bowling Alone, I think his name is Robert Putnam, and he talked about how America has changed, that people are no longer parts of groups and organizations and social organizations. Basically, they're just bowling alone. And that this has consequences for society, that people are no longer part of friendship societies. Of course, some people are. So
Yeah, I think it's not always the case, but most of the time, I think Korea is chasing after Americans' culture or society.
when I was younger, it seemed like Korea was following the U.S. and a lot of Americans are saying, "Stop, get off this road. It's a dead end. Don't follow us. Don't you see? People here are unhappy and having problems, Don't copy us.
I'm really grateful that you mentioned the book because people
yeah.
will love it.
In his book, he of course talks about others who've talked about this. He's not the first person to mention this point. I think maybe he just put it all together very well. So I'm saying there are lots of different factors. So the social media is one thing, not really being part of social groups the way people were in the past. And look, I'm not a religious person, but religion helped to lots of people. They were able to join up with other like-minded people, forming communities. I'm not saying marriage is something people need. I'm not saying if you're in a bad situation that you should stay in it. I'm not trying to tell anybody what they should do. It's more of what's your goal? What are you trying to get to? So people should look within themselves and figure out what it is that they want. Now, if you prefer to not have children, okay, fine. If you want children, it's okay. But I think a lot of people are just drifting. I graduated from Harvard, as you know, and I was with a friend who said that she wanted to go to Harvard. So then I opened my computer. Let's look at how you can get to Harvard. And then she says, oh, not right now. So I closed my computer. And then she says, oh yeah, but I'd like to go one day. So I opened my computer. And then she says, oh, but I'm not ready now. Then I closed my computer. So I'm not judging her about what she wants to achieve and what she wants to do. It's more of, this is what I want. Then let's talk about how you can get to that. I've met Koreans who've said that after living out of Korea, when they came back, they felt like they were suffocating. Okay, and I'd ask why. It's like, because everybody, when they look at you, they're judging you. So then when they get put into a situation or they put themselves in a situation where they can breathe, then guess what? They're going to breathe and
Right.
they feel, yeah. So it's not only about English, but it's about getting yourself out of a situation where you can't breathe. Okay, do you smoke?
I don't.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Okay, I don't either. I had one cigar when I was about 12 years old.
Okay.
And my father was smoking, and I was like, and then he just handed it to me. And then I tried, oh, it's terrible. And then I didn't try again for like another 15 years. Okay, but it's like at a party, whatever. Okay, a celebration. Two guys who can't speak, if they both smoke, they've got a connection. If two people are interested in something, the same thing, even without language, they've got a connection.
Oh.
Okay, so I'm saying that I cannot put it only in terms of English, that people can be free and people can connect. People can connect in many ways, but definitely being able to speak the global international language will create more opportunities for you to be able to connect with people. Now you can get on the internet and whatever you're interested in, you can find somebody in this world who's also interested in it. And if you both speak English, then you can have a deeper conversation.